Aloha, everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com. And I'm really excited because today I have Tony on. He is the founder of Sovereign Productions 369.com.
Mhm.
I'll put the link in the description. And I did a video just on understanding your rights, how to pull yourself out of the system, all of the information on tax. And I got a lot of people freaking out. Well, Tony is going to answer some of those questions. So, Tony, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, I wanted to start with your background. Like, who are you? How did this start? And just yeah, let us know a little bit about you so people kind of understand who's talking here.
Who am I? So my name is Tony. I'm from Massachusetts originally. Uh, what else? So the way that I got into studying all of this is because I kept on ending up in problems with the legal system, and so it kind of drove me to have to study law, criminal law, initially, right? And then so I ended up bumping into the fact that everything's commercial, and kind of just took it from there. And so, damn, why am I nervous?
It's all good. I'm so grateful that you're here because you guys, the reason why I invited him on, I can't even remember who sent me to you, but I started watching your YouTube, which is YouTube is going to be in the link below, Sovereign Productions 369 on YouTube, I believe. And
Yeah.
I'll put it in the description for you guys because this guy is on it. Like I couldn't believe all of the legal stuff that you are sharing about understanding how, if you get in trouble with the court system, how to get yourself out. And I do want to mention too, because I did get, again, people just commenting on the last video that I did, what about my social security? What about, my pension that I'm getting? And I'm going to ask Tony these questions and he's going to give you some major insights. If you're not comfortable doing something, don't do it. Okay, don't do anything we're saying unless you research it for yourself. This is just education. This is just for your information to know what other people around the world are studying. I'm not the only one. Captain Matt from California, and this is Tony, who's in Massachusetts. So somebody was writing me from the UK and saying that she's doing it over there. So we're just sharing information. If you're not comfortable doing something, don't do it until you know what you're talking about and you understand this. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. You do your life the way you do it. And this is just for information. So Tony, the conversation that I had last time was about taxes and the fact that taxes are voluntary. Can
Right.
you can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so taxes are voluntary, and excuse me, I mean, it even says it on the IRS website. So you don't have to take anything that anybody says at face value. I mean, you can go right to the horse's mouth and go ahead and look it up on the IRS and the Treasury website. And they openly tell you that everything is voluntary. The problem is that people forget that they're entering into contracts with them. When you go to get like a regular job, you're filling out a W-4. And so that is what gets you into a contract with them, a legally binding contract at that. So then they're legally authorized to send you bills and things like that. And there is ways to get yourself out of that as well, because you can rescind any contract at any point that you don't feel that you're benefiting from it. Because ultimately, all of these agencies are put in place for our benefit, and not to treat us like subjects at all, because the government is ultimately the public servants, right? And that's what everybody's forgetting. But the biggest part, I think, is that everybody's forgetting that you did enter into a contract with them. So they do have a right to send you those bills, but you also do have a right to rescind the contract at any point.
So yes, I want to ask you some of these questions that are in the comment from the last video I did. If I do this, will I lose, which is getting out of the system and getting out of the IRS system? Will I lose any of my rights, and will I lose Social Security or lose anything, any of those rights?
No, because all of those are voluntary as well. And you know what? To be honest with you, they don't even legally have to pay you the Social Security that you paid in. It's nowhere in the contract at any point. No matter how long that you've been paying in, they could just opt not to pay you if they wanted to, and that's a fact. So those are things to keep in mind whenever you're entering into contracts with people like that. And I mean, you can see all of the horror stories that happen with people who think that the government's really there to help you. And sometimes they are, but for the most part, I think overall they do. I mean, from what I'm saying, they're causing more damage than anything, to be
Yeah.
honest. Right? And so, I mean, initially, I think the reason why they were even put in place, if you want to take it back a couple hundred years, I think that we needed people to represent us at one point because we didn't have cell phones and things like that to be able to communicate with one another, and so we just used them in the place of us while we were doing other things. But now we're in a different age where we can literally communicate with anybody around the world at like the speed of light, damn near. So a lot of these people that work in like a lot of these offices are freaking irrelevant at this point, and I don't even understand how they even make themselves seem relevant to everybody. And I mean, it
Mm.
might be because everybody's just really not educated on what it is that's really going on. And I think, I mean, one of the major points too is everybody needs to understand how like the banking system works and that we're all actually looked at like private bankers, and we actually are. And I mean, because we're dealing with securities every day without even realizing it. So every time you get like a $1 bill, which is actually a promissory note, which is a promise to pay, that's actually a security. So when you put it in your pocket, you just made a deposit. Now, this is why these people are treating you like you should know what's going on and pretty much just running over you whenever you go into court because they automatically assume that you know how to operate like a banker. And all of these courts are banks and things like that as well. So this is what's really going on.
So you have a little bit of feedback on your mic, like not always, just a little bit, just on sometimes. I don't know if you can pull the mic a little bit away from you, but I
Okay.
love this conversation. Okay, here's the next question. If I do this and some they're kind of similar, but if I do this and sign these papers, does that mean I cannot teach? She has a job. She has a job on Long Island. I'm a public school teacher. And again, I believe this answer is no. I work for the state. How does this work once I sign the paperwork? Does this mean that they can't withdraw taxes from my paycheck? Do I need another job? Please advise on
No.
that.
So they can, I mean, you can let them take out whatever you want them to take out. And if they ever end up taking out things that you didn't want them to, you could always get that back and just file it as like a withheld federal tax. And I'm not giving tax advice either, mind you, because I'm not a tax lawyer, but that's how that would go. And so you would just put that in the section where you want to get a return as like an overpayment. That's what that would count as. And so then you would be able to get a refund for that. And
Wow.
also, I mean, if the issue that you're having is using your social security number to get a job, because I know a lot of people want to pull away from using the social, you could easily set up a LLC or like a corporation and get an EIN from the IRS, and you could use that in the place of your social, and then you're able to still take part in like regular jobs and things like that without directly taking a benefit.
Wow. So again, you guys, this is Sovereign Productions 369.com. The link is in the description. I'm just saying that because, and also check out his website, his YouTube, because he's got so much information and it sounds kind of overwhelming and kind of like, what? And if you've never heard this before, you're going to have lots of questions, and don't do anything unless you feel comfortable. This is just information. It's definitely not legal advice, but you can go to his website and he does have some services to help people. So this is another question. I do not have a birth certificate. I was born in the US and I'm elderly on Social Security. I paid into my whole life. Does this mean I can't collect? Okay, you just said no. And how will no birth certificate affect my process? Interesting. Do you know about
So
that?
if you have a social security number, usually that's all tied into your birth certificate as well. So you don't need to have like a physical BC like that, but as long as you have that little social security, you can just use social security card. You can use that in the place because that's all tied in regardless to the same trust account.
And I do want to talk about the trust account, but I have two more questions for you before we get into but that is definitely on the list for today. Since I'm in this as another person, since I'm injured and get Social Security, again, people are paid that I already paid into. I think we already answered this one. Do I have to cancel that? No, because it should be homeless. So she doesn't have to cancel her Social
No, you can
Security.
still take
Yeah,
that, and
because it's a
nobody
contract.
should. No, well, nobody should take it as far as putting yourself in a tough situation because you want to stand up for something. That shit is just retarded, to be honest with you. Just, I mean, go as far as you need to go and go as slow as you need to go. There's no need to rush it, but I totally understand the anxiety that comes with realizing what it is that's actually going on, and you kind of want to just run away from it as fast as you can, but then you're gonna leave everything behind. You don't have to do that, but that is all part of the process of realizing and starting to wake up as to what's going on. And it is shocking and it is traumatizing, but there's no need to um, basically leave yourself coming up short just
Yeah.
because you want to move with a certain group, because
Yeah.
that's just crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Take care of yourself, make sure your foundation, you don't have to do any of this, you guys. This is just for information. And here's the thing too. I'm a very I follow my gut intuition of what's next for me. So this is what I've always done with my business. I'm like, okay, what's next for my business? And then I just put it out there, and then something happens and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to do that. That's what I've done with this channel. What's next for this channel? And then I meet Tony. Somebody sent, I don't even know how I got in touch or found this person, but I'm so glad I did. Here's another question. This is a good one. If I opt out of the government, I can't drive on the roads because this is funny, but the government built the roads with tax dollars, which isn't not true. But if everyone stopped paying taxes, then the roads would be deteriorated with potholes. If a gang steals my stuff, I can't call the police. So what, do you have any comments on that one? I know.
I
That one's
mean, if
funny.
you
That's
can't
the
call
last
them the
one.
police, you just keep yourself armed because you do have that right. I mean, that's the Second Amendment, okay? So keep in mind that you don't really need anybody to come save you like that. Sometimes you do, but I mean, it's not that you can't utilize their services. I think the biggest point is um is just taking care of yourself as much as you
Mhm.
can. And I mean, look, and every government agency does serve a purpose, but I think that even the agencies themselves have gotten away from what they were initially set up for, and they end up turning into something else. And this is on top of the fact that all of them are registered for-profit corporations, and that's one thing that I don't think anybody realizes. They all have EINs. They're all being traded on in the securities market. They have DUNS numbers, which means that they're literally a public corporation that is traded on. So their allegiance is to their shareholders, okay? And so they have to keep on making money from you, okay? Because the
Mhm.
government doesn't have any money. The government is bankrupt, period. And they were never authorized to create money. This is why they're always trying to engage you in different ways to get you to contract, to get your social security number, to get you to sign here and die here and
Mhm.
all of that. It's because every paper that you ever sign when you come into contact with these people is being securitized, and then they're selling it on the markets because they're all literally private banks and operating as such, but they're wearing a different costume. But they really should be wearing a banker suit, all of them.
Yeah, check this out, you guys. Every contract that you sign, like a parking ticket or anything like that, driver's license, any contract you sign, he's actually saying is actually sold on the market. Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely.
We don't know
Yeah.
this.
And
We
that's
don't know
exactly
this.
what I'm saying. And so the reason is because they are bankrupt and so they need us to be able to create the funds, and your signature is the money, right? So they're always trying to get you to sign something. And look,
So
so every time you go to get a benefit from them, what do they ask you for? They ask you for your social security number. Why is that? Because if you're really getting a benefit, would they need your social security number? No, they would be able to pull it out of a like whatever they had, they would be able to pull that out of something else. But the fact that they're asking you for your social just shows you that that is connected to your trust account, and they're just basically acting as trustees whenever you sign up for a service with them. And God knows what they're even doing with that behind the scenes. I mean, I can only imagine.
So let's talk about the trust, because if there's a trust, it was created by our birth certificate. Can you explain to people what that is and how money gets put in there and how much you roughly, like what is the
Yeah,
trust?
so they basically so when the country went bankrupt and the rescission of the gold clause in 1933, so it's something called the House Joint Resolution June 5th, 1933. When you look that up, what you're gonna see is that that's when they they rescinded the gold clause, basically saying that nobody was allowed to use gold for commercial
Mhm.
transactions anymore, right? And so they put up signs everywhere saying that all persons had to forfeit all of their gold. Now the
Persons,
persons.
persons,
Now let's
not
talk about what persons is. So when we talk about what is a person, United States Code 26 person is and the word individual is actually a corporation. So they were never telling the people, which is us, you and I, the actual government, which is the people, they were never telling us that we had to forfeit all our gold. But a lot of them did. A lot of them went and literally forfeited their gold over to these crooks, and they just took it and went ahead and left with it. So after that, the country was bankrupt, and we fell into like a fiat currency system. So they had to start pawning things and putting them up as our collateral. And so they put all of us up, you and I, and the all of the buildings here and things like that. So they used the funds that they got from hawking us essentially. So they took that money and they basically used it to invest in different properties and different projects throughout the world. And so that's how it's making money. But you're able to draw from it at any point if you ever need it for whatever you may need. But we were never taught how to operate like a banker. So essentially, when you end up going to them for their help to be able to get any benefits, food stamps, Social Security, health insurance, and things like that, that's what they're actually drawing from, because they're not because they don't have money and they are bankrupt. So this is where they're drawing their funds from.
so you've done this. You have access to your trust. Is that right?
Well, so I created my own. And this is the thing too. Like, a lot of people waste time trying to find the trust that they made, to get a broker to track down their social, to find out how much their trust is worth. And really they're all pulled together and sold as like these clumps. So you may find that it's worth a couple hundred million, but it's pulled in with like 20 other people's as well. Now, what is yours actually compared to the whole lump? Who knows? So what we do, we create our own birth certificate trust, and we do what is called the UCC1 filing, and so essentially we go ahead and create our own master file and use the birth certificate as collateral to be able to create instruments, to make acquisitions, and to offset debt and things like that.
To offset debt. Wow.
Right,
So,
that's
and
what
you've
it's
done this
about.
for people. And how long ago did you start this?
So I've been studying for a little over 6 years, but I've been operating as a private banker for the last 18 months, almost 2 years now at this point.
And have you had any trouble with any legal stuff with this running this way?
No, no, because I mean, actually, the departments that I go through are the Criminal Investigation Division and the Auditing Division, and directly through the U.S. Treasury. So there is no problems, and if there was one, I probably would have been locked up a long time ago.
That's fantastic.
Maybe they're outside. Let me go check, actually.
Wow. So, what would you say to people who are just first hearing this for the first time and are like, if a lot of people are afraid, and rightly
Yeah.
so, they've put the fear of God in us. That's what they want us to
Mhm.
be. They want us to be afraid. So what would you say to them?
I would just say that, when you understand the way that the human mind works, which the government 100% understands the way that it works, and this is why they program us a certain way. But, so I mean, I totally get it, because I mean, I was born into the same system as everybody else. I went to the same school, so I got the same exact programming. So like, I know what it's like to come into this information, and then so you want to go bounce it off somebody, right? So one of your friends are gonna go and be like, "Hey, look, this is what I heard over here," and all they're gonna say is, "Oh, you're gonna end up in jail or some shit like that." Look, they're probably a they're probably an agent too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know. Who knows? But look, so nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. They can only tell you what their limitations are. So this is not something that you can bounce off somebody and think that you're gonna get anything that makes sense back from what you're trying to get from them. Because for one, they haven't studied, and they probably don't have the same courage as you. So they're not gonna tell you to go ahead and do it. And I think
Yeah.
ultimately and I think ultimately a lot of them end up just becoming jealous in the end, because I mean, this is what I've seen.
Yeah. So this whole system, you guys, we actually had a free country back in between, before the Civil War, we had a lot more freedoms. And this new constitution that they put in place after, I think it was the is it the 9th or 10th Amendment that they put in? All a new constitution is meant to enslave people. And that is what the 14th Amendment is about. Can you talk a little bit about that system, about the 14th Amendment?
Crazy. I'm glad you brought that up too, because there is two constitutions, right? And I bet
Two
a lot of people don't
constitutions.
even know that. Yeah, there is. There's the Constitution for the United States of America, and there's the Constitution of the United States of America. One of them is the organic Constitution, which is still alive and well, and the other one is actually a mission statement for the corporation called United States. And so they made something that is actually their mission statement and made it look just like the Constitution to fool you. Now, this is the one that they're going in and amending and changing and shit like that, because that's the only one that they can do it to, because it's their personal business, so they can do that. So everybody's going to get all freaked out thinking that they're actually changing the organic Constitution, but they can't. They don't even have that power. But this is what they want you to believe, so that way you think that they have some power that they really don't have like that. Okay? So ultimately, they can write up even laws that are contrary to our organic constitution because they are a private business. And keep in mind that whatever codes and statutes that they ever write, if your name is not in it and it's not made directly for you, then it doesn't apply to you. Any of them. It has to be in your name. So look, so this is the reason why they try to get everybody pulled into certain categories, like even racial groups and US citizens and things like this. This is why they want everybody to be pulled into these certain categories so you fall under their jurisdiction, because they have the jurisdiction over the little boxes that they create.
Yes.
That's it. Like
yeah, like the suffix, the Miss or Mrs., like all of it
right.
all of it is it's designed that way to get you to contract into their mission statement, which they claim is our part of our constitution, which it is not part of our constitution. No. This stuff is crazy, you guys. These evils, this is the demon, this is the devil, this is darkness has taken over this country. And like I said in another video, it was it started with the Catholicism, Catholics in the 1500s. It created the secret society of the Jesuit order that then created all these front organizations, secret societies to enslave the world. And this is where we're up against. So Tony, is there anything else that you'd like to share with people before we close out here? Because I'm so grateful for your time. Definitely want you on again. And again, you guys' website, sovereignproductions369.com, and his website. Check it out. You're going to learn a lot. Don't start anything you are afraid. If you're afraid, don't do it until you feel comfortable, feel confident, and then you want to dip your toe into something, but never do anything that you're not comfortable with until you really learn stuff. And this is for just your education. We're not giving you legal advice here. So Tony, anything else you want to share, because this is awesome?
Yeah, so to go back to the way that we first came into contact, it was through a gentleman that was emailing me at one point, and I was trying to get in contact with people that had their houses burned over there in Hawaii from that weapon that was activated. And so what I wanted to offer was free discharge for any for the actual people that actually had the issues happen. I would like to offer free discharge for like funeral expenses, hospital bills, if they have any credit cards that need to get discharged, and even those burnt houses and things like that, you don't have to pay the mortgages on them. I would like to offer free discharges for them too as well. And they can contact me at sovereignproductions369@gmail.com. Again, my name is Tony, and I mean, I'd be grateful to be able to help you guys if I can.
So yes, thank you for that, Tony. Lahaina people in Maui who were attacked and had their homes attacked and burned to the ground by these arsonists who use the DWs and also the weather modification, which I have shown on different videos, especially the one that I did about 2-3 days ago with the Hawaiian U.S. Air Force veteran who showed how they did a military act in Lahaina during the fires. So you guys, that's what he's talking about. You guys, if you have a house, if you have a mortgage over there, he can help you get it discharged. And that's what his business is. That's what he does for people. So please contact him, sovereignproductions369.com. And then I'm going to leave all his links and his email in the description, so you guys can go straight there and get that help you need. We also, I'm going to be interviewing again the U.S. Air Force veteran, because we are looking, I know that the state is trying to use eminent domain to steal Hawaiian land over there, and we are looking into how to stop that. So that is what we're going to be doing as well. But Tony, thank you so much. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
so what I do, Tony, at the end of all my videos is just a quick prayer. So let's just breathe into this present moment right here, right now. And Great Spirit, infinite source of all things, we know this is a game. We know that this is our spirits came into these human vessels, these bodies, to experience what it feels like to feel fear and feel scarcity, because we are infinite creatures. We are infinite souls of light. And in our true form, we know there's no darkness. We know only love, and we know that we are always taken care of. So we bring that now into this present moment, the knowingness that we are truly loved beyond measure, that we are taken care of always. All of our needs are met and then some. We give so much gratitude for Tony and his journey and finding the truth, because the truth can never stay hidden forever. It is a light that the darkness cannot hide the truth forever, and it is coming out. And we give so much gratitude to Tony and his amazing brain that understands these concepts and how much he wants to help people. And we give so much gratitude to all the light workers that are helping support the people that have been attacked on Lahaina and Maui, East Palestine in the United States. We have not forgotten about you. Israel and what's happening in Palestine, which those are all the people on both sides are victims. It is the corrupt Zionists. It is the Jesuit order. It is all the secret societies that have been attacking and want this world war. But the people, we are light beings of love, and we care so much about each other. And we just know that that light frequency travels around the earth, calls forth peace, calls forth inner strength and courage to do what is ours to do our kuleana and make that stand toward world peace. And that these demons are leaving the planet. These demons are no longer allowed here on the planet. And we just know that they are leaving in a peaceful way, that they will never be returning. And we know that that time is coming where this world will be free. And we say, so it is. So thank you so
So it is.
much, Tony. Much aloha to you.
Thank you, Michelle. It was
And
awesome.
looking forward to another piece. And you guys go to his website, check out his YouTube channel, and
That was
email
my
him if you're
first
in
interview
Lahaina.
ever. It just froze up in the beginning. We're gonna have to run that back.
You did so great. You did
All
so
right.
great. So
All
yeah, hold
right.
on one second while I stop the recording.